G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yards. I'll be Nat, this be my Knackers Yard, and I'll be a really happy Nat because he's back. Ivan is back and running to the point where I will, if I can today, take him out for a quick test ride just to prove to myself before I allow him to get to work. So it's got a new head on. Looking good. I've blacked out the pipes. They were pretty shagged, so there's no way I was ever going to get them shiny again. And actually, it's a blacked out commute bike. It doesn't need to be shiny. Scorpions are roaring. I didn't film the full shebang, probably just as well, because it did take me over 3 days, 3 fairly long days, because in case you hadn't noticed, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I will drop in what I can as far as progress is concerned. But spoiler alert, it works and it looks pretty good. I'm missing one part to hold my clutch cable away. I'm sure I put it somewhere, but right, let's take you on a bit of a journey. There's a further spoiler alert, although the header bolts were the issue, and the top end is up there. I was going to do a upload on trying to weld those out. Got fucking nowhere with it. I might try, but the coils and the spark plugs were in horrendous condition, so another reason they needed sorting. Okay, let's see how, or indeed if, he goes. To warm up and that choke to drop out a little bit. When I first tentatively started him, I thought, Christ, that sounds even louder, and I've got flames and everything. I realised I forgot to plug the exhaust lander in. It had an open pipe. Now, the thing that intrigues me the most is I'm adamant that I hadn't turned the bike over when I took the valves, took the camshafts off, and they were engaged, which would mean that its timing was quite a long way off. But it's been running fine like that for absolutely ages. The timing now is 100% bang on. It does, if anything, feel a bit livelier. So it's got brand new sparks, brand new coils, and it feels a lot happier with them. Now, I didn't mess around with the valve spacing, so it's got the valve spacing that came with it from its previous bike. I probably should have done it while I had everything open, but frankly I was in a bit of a rush because I needed to make sure that I had this ready for next week to ride. And he's back, and I think he might actually be even sprightlier than he was before. I think that little timing adjustment has thoroughly sorted him out. Now, while I was looking for bits for this, I also had a quick look at the exhaust, which is a Scorpion, I think, Red Team, I think it's called. And I have actually found a baffle, and I've ordered it. So we'll have to see what difference that makes. And not that I'm anti the noise anyway, but hauling around a housing estate, it is a bit loud. Clearing idiots out of the way of central London, it's not bad. Yeah, that is definitely sprightlier. The middle pitch is a lot better. Oh, still indicating, dickhead. Welcome back, Ivan. Welcome back, and I am so chuffed. Now, I do cock around with motorbikes quite a lot. I don't tend to play with my own much, and at 2010 this is one of the more modern ones that I've played with. I tend to deal with older, and I am really not confident in my own abilities at all. But I do feel slightly vindicated. Maybe I'm not quite so frickin' useless as I quite often feel, because Ivan has never felt so good. Yeah, that is pulling like a train. 650 cc train. cc 650c car, train, bike. Maureen! Right. Let me get some bits. That's better. That tick over's got healthier. I was a bit concerned it was a bit fast. But obviously it was cold. I hadn't really been run in a good, what, 2-3 weeks? Ooh. God, I love this bike. Oh, that front wheel wants to come up. I might have to readjust how I ride this thing a little bit. Brakes are still good. That could have been slightly soul destroying, in the bike back on the road and it's slamming it into the back of a car. There is nothing wrong with that. Happy fricking days. Woo fricking who. Okay then, so the big so what's the takeaways? What did I learn from this little experience as much as anything else? Quite a lot. So for those that watched the channel before, you know I'm not particularly spiritual about bikes. All this biker zen bit, just I don't quite get. However, I'm really keen on my bike, and actually identifying a flaw, i.e. those rotting header bolts or header nuts really, and not doing anything about it when I noticed it has really annoyed me. It's really frustrated me to the point where I bought new ones and then eventually it went. That did annoy me. Now, ultimately, it wouldn't have made any difference because by trying to remove them, the bolts snapped. So I suppose I kind of give myself a bit of an easy ride on that. But I am so chuffed to getting back on the road with my own blood, sweat and tears, all of which were used throughout the process. So thanks again to the Motorcycle Rescuer for suggesting swapping the head. I hadn't thought of it, slightly stupidly, and for sending me the link to one. Not thanks to the eBay dude who packed it that badly that it got a knock in postage. I have seen the tiny holes in the box, and they're being, I'll say it, they're being arseholes about any recompense for it because I have used it. Did spend a good 2 hours dressing it back so that I could use it, but my time's free. So the bike side, happy. The process, by digging through that head, I've still got one of the coils here. You know, the split down the side of that due to water ingress meant that I would never have got that out. Even with the pucker pulling tool, which I don't have, the girth was wider than the gap. for now. So that would never have come out. So I would not have been able to change the sparks in that setup that it had before. Consequently, those sparks have been in there for a while. Now, left alone, they would have been fine. But at least I know I've done it, and at least I know they're decent ones in there as well. So coil's good. Putting it all back together, fine. I've actually learned a little bit more about trusting my torque wrenches, and I'm grabbing them from there because so many of you bastards are convinced that I don't use one because I don't tend to show it. Well, don't show everything I do. I'm in here for hours and I can't hold anybody's attention that long, barely my own. So yeah, trusting in it. I have got one knackered one which I do need to throw away because I'm terrified of just over wrenching. But anyway, trust your kit, follow the instructions. I think I've done okay. I've done a couple of little slightly dodgy bodges as I've been going. Like you saw, for example, that I pushed the throttle bodies to one side to get me work done like a cheap date's pants. But it seems to have worked. I was being slightly lazy because the only way that I could have got all the cables off was to take them off at the top end of the grip, and I just couldn't be bothered. There's a couple of bits like that I've gone through that seem to have gone okay. The bike seems to be running really well. It was only a quick jaunt around the corner though, so first test will be a commute. I may upload it, I may not, depends if I can think of anything vaguely interesting to talk about while I'm doing it. Well, by vaguely interesting, I mean I find it interesting. You might not. But yeah, I mean time wise, it is Monday now, it's Easter bank holiday. Effectively it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pretty much all of Friday, a large chunk of Saturday, a little bit of Sunday, and a tiny bit of pissing around today. So poxy little things like I forgot to put the gaskets on when I put the pipes back on. It ran fine till I found the pot with the horn in it and found the gaskets in it and thought, shit. So I did take them off and I did put them back on, etc, etc. So there's a couple of bits of dissing around like that. But, you know, not to say it should take you that sort of time at all. You may know what you're doing. I am following a Haynes manual religiously, like a complete lunatic, and trying to do everything to the best of my ability with the kit that I've got available. Anyway, enough of that. My ER6N is back on the road. I am turbo chuffed because, and it's not the fact that the ER6 is the best bike ever. It's not, but it is perfectly suited for the use that I put it through, i.e. generally a commute through heavy traffic. He's a loud bastard and he makes people move. I'll do an update when the exhaust baffle, that's the word I was looking for, it baffled me then, dad joke. I'll do an update when that comes in and we'll see what, if any, difference it makes, whether or not it ruins my experience. If it ruins my experience, I won't do it. I don't often poodle around the burbs. I'm normally growling at people in the middle of London, so as is works. But I saw it and thought, ooh. And actually more importantly, when I was taking it off, I actually saw the tiny hole, which is, I can't show you because it's right at the top of the exhaust. You'd only notice if you were lying down under the bike or taking the exhaust off, both of which I've been doing for the last 3 days. Cheers all, thanks very much, and I'll catch you later on. Ta-da.